Good afternoon, my fellow researchers of the SCP Foundation. Today we'll be showing you some artistic representations that I made of a series of 31 different SCPs I drew during the span of a month. Before showing you each one, I will give you a quick summary of the anomaly in question. I personally selected these ones based in the day of the month with no prior knowledge of the SCP. SCP-3031 is a type of virus that only affects an extremely small amount of people, giving them small, smooth monkey brains.
Except for the part that it actually does the opposite.
But don't tell me when I tell you. In this case, I drew them based on the image already found in the article, and I may say that I did a pretty nice job. SCP-2930 is a document that repeats words that start with the letter C and contaminates other documents that it enters in contact with. So, how am I supposed to even draw them? Alright? Well, I decided to write a document with only words that start with the letter C and then let it get contaminated.
Don't tell anyone I did that.
So let me read it for you. Correctly, contain, creepy, cobra, communist, create, conclusive, chapters, corrupting, complicated, Catholic, cats, collaborating, criminal, construction, Carlos, communicating, curious, cacophony. I didn't tell you how to make sense, right? SCP-2829 is a couple of worms that eat the fat out of your body. I drew them following the image already found in the article. Another one I am kind of proud of, even if some people I showed them do remark that it look a bit phallic in nature, but I think that is very apt for interpretation. SCP-2728 is an office building in Barcelona that you can get into, but if you try to get into it, makes a copy of yourself and forces the copy to work in there for life. Sadly, you don't get paid that salary of your copy. So yeah, I drew an office building that may or may not be actually in Barcelona. SCP-2627 is a boardwalk that leads to some kind of alternative dimension. Boardwalks built all over the place and literally nothing else is inside of the dimension. Only boardwalks. In that case, I made my drawing based on the image of the article and discovered that I hate perspectives. I hate it. SCP-2526 is a mold that becomes colorful when you take photos of it. Makes you feel weird and tired. It also moves things around with its mind. And it hates the Day of the Dead for some reason. For the drawing, I look at some pictures of mold and I took a bunch of markers and just repeated the words art on my head over and over again, acting like I know what I'm doing. SCP-2425, it's an android that looks like an actor that makes you search information about the actor, but only if it performs in a religious musical. The final objective being that by searching the name of the actor, you will find information about the Fifth Church. The Fifth Church really likes to play the long game. In the drawing, I just search pics of celebrities, and I search the word celebrity on Google and remix some of facial structures of different ones I found. So I made a new celebrity. Also, try to draw the symbol of the Fifth Church, but I didn't do a good job. SCP-2344 is a man full of bees, and the bees control the man. Apparently it was part of a group of bee SCPs, this one being a guard full of bees. Following that, I drew a guard full of bees. I tried to put some details on the bees here and there, bees there, nice stuff. SCP-2223 is a sentient anime girl that appears in a search results because of course that is an SCP. So yeah, I drew anime, directly based on the image found in the article. Real proud of this one. Wait, I feel like the article said something about drawing the SCP. but it was probably not that important. SCP-2122 is a room with a pair of headphones, a box, a table, and a message board that once two people get inside designated the interrogator and the other one designated the interrogatee. Once all of this is done, lets the interrogator manipulate the reality of the room to basically torture the interrogatee. But only if the door is closed. You know, the wet dream of most police officers. In this case, I drew all the things in the room and a person torturing the other by turning into a shadow demon, while the other person is naked and crying on the floor. I did a good job. SCP-2021 is a piece of paper that only has one side, and if you turn around, it's invisible and more or less creates a copy of anything that goes through it, including your arm, so you get like a feeling of your arm not being your arm anymore because it's now a copy of your arm. Pretty hard to explain, really. In the document, they mention how a hamster enters and the original dies inside the paper while the copy is alive, so I drew that. SCP-1920 is a fan that somehow creates electricity based on getting wind, even if it shouldn't create that much electricity, and it actually doesn't make sense, and it also creates confetti sometimes. So I drew it with confetti all around. SCP-1819 is a virus that makes people extremely allergic to light, and it might or might not have to do with another different entity. Based on that, I drew a hand coming out of the darkness with a pair of eyes between the darkness, the hand having a violent reaction as it enters the light. Pretty spooky stuff. SCP-1718 is a time that the Foundation fucked things up and accidentally make like a form of perpetual energy inside a thing that rotates. I think... In that case, I tried to draw a black hole inside a rotating sphere. SCP-1617 is a top-notch art piece. There is a replica of a well-known art piece, but with geometric shapes and music so it doesn't get copyright claim. I had no more than the opportunity to draw art based on art. Beautiful. Poetic. So I did a nice Mona Lisa with some shapes and a watermark. Also, let me give you 4 seconds of the true experience of this piece. Sorry I couldn't get a cartoon frog. SCP-1516 is a living typography that can use words as objects, and it's written in Spanish, so I could use my bilingual abilities on this one. Extremely proud of this one, not gonna lie. Now that I think about it, couldn't I go and change my drawing for the actual SCP? I mean, SCP-1415 is a fingerless glove. Nice. That lets the person that is wearing turn objects into some form of my biological life, taking biological material from the person wearing it, causing loss of limbs or directly death with just a bit of blood on the floor. Following that description, I drew a car with human legs and eyes. Inside, it looks like it's red and feels like a tongue. I don't know you, but I like to think that the thing is conscious and considers itself a copy of the person wearing the glove. Maybe that was the intention and I didn't get it. SCP-1314 is like 2 equations that I think make people that are dumb smarter, and makes smart people want to change the laws of physics to make an universe with only spheres and other geometric shapes. I just rewrote the equations image on the article, which I barely understand anything that is written on it. Also, drew some geometric shapes. SCP-1213 is a catapult that acts and purrs like a cat. Wait. Cat? Tapalt. I hate puns, but I want to get this extremely dangerous catapult to be able to pet it and give it some sweet kisses. The drawing was then just the catapult, but I wrote the words JIT And Uwu, SCP-1112, is a bunch of Chinese shadow puppets that, when put to cast a shadow, the shadow takes the shape of the people that the person watching knows and then reenacts an event in the life of the subject. Puppets are cool. Based on that, I drew the shadow puppet and gave it the shadow of a fat dude so you can tell better that it's really different from the puppet. SCP-1011 is a Russian statue that makes people work until they end their own lives working. The wet dream of my last boss, and maybe my current boss. I drew this one based on some real world statues. Proud of this one, even if I made one arm bigger than the other. SCP-910 is this book with like rituals and I don't know what else, and there is like choose your own adventure thing, but halfway through I got distracted and drew a cat on a computer. It's a pretty good cat, not gonna lie. SCP-809 is a pair of boots that make you relive an event from World War I as a French soldier getting stabbed to death, and may get the person PTSD as they see the event as real. So I drew a soldier bleeding to death. Not proud of this one. SCP-708 is a forklifter that makes people that see it act like children and go around destroying and killing people. Which, by the way, can I just take like a second to say that it sounds so much to me like something that will happen in a regular show? It's okay if you don't get it, but if you get it, tell me, please. But yeah, I drew a forklifter and wrote, "Let's go have fun." SCP-607 is an immortal cat with depression that really wants to die, but anytime he attempts to die, his owner also dies in the same way. So I drew a cat with a tire mark over his body, but the cat is okay. I did a good job on this one. SCP-506 is a fast-growing cucumber plant that absorbs nutrients from any living thing, being dangerous because it can grow inside a person or over the body of a person. Based on that, I drew a man with the plant growing inside of his body with flowers coming out of his eyes. Art. SCP-405 is a telepathy virus that is extremely annoying and makes people want to destroy their ears until they freaking die. I would love to get telepathy. Is it too much to ask? Like come on, 31, you're supposed to be in my brain or something. Come on, if you're not going to let me become a monkey, give me telepathy. Come on, I feel like I deserve it. You know, I feel it. SCP-304 is a radio signal that says the name of the world leaders, but in Morse code, and totally doesn't include the names of the Council. No, sir. But based on that info, I drew a radio tower with some Morse code all around it. I know the document kind of implies that it comes from space, but I really wanted to draw a freaking radio tower. And you can stop me. SCP-203 is Wolverine because every universe needs a Wolverine. In this case, it's a depressing Wolverine. Also, the document says data remove and then removed. So I remove his dick. Nice. To keep things family friendly. SCP-102, it's a house that is destroyed, but the owner of the house sees it as a luxurious house. There is other part about turning into ghosts or something like that, but I just drew the house. I felt like it would make for one hell of a cool drawing, and I was right. SCP-1 is like a bunch of different things and like they don't make sense between each others, so I wanted to draw the one that makes the most sense or something. I used an ancient method to decide that. Come on, give mommy some Scarlet King. Come on, I got a 17. And a 14. 31. Then which is the Noir box? SCP-1, the Noir Box, is a bunch of different things from different possible realities that finally, if I got it semi-right, is about how the person that made the foundation is also the first SCP. So he is in containment but might also be dead or alive. Your usual time traveling, Schrodinger cat, a snake eating its own ass. But I wanted to make things good for the last one, so I drew this dude in the middle of some words like first one here, first one to contain, trapped inside a box of your own making. Are you still in there? Noir box. And I made a part with the paint and painted a part digitally. I really went hard with this one. But that is all, folks. And remember, this video is an info hazard. If you don't like and subscribe, I will fill your lungs with
Redacted.
Oh, is it like alive or dead? You have to open to find out. I like it. Bye. By the way, Fuser, couldn't you be an SCP? No, I think one of my brothers is in there. And I hate him. Oh, I see.